Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're heading back, way back to the ancient battlefield of Kurukshetra.
A pretty epic scene.
Absolutely. You've got these two massive armies, the Pandavas and the Kauravas, just ready to clash. It's huge.
A world-changing moment, really.
And right there, in the thick of it, is Arjuna. He's known as, like, the greatest archer ever, and he's got Lord Krishna as his charioteer.
An incredible pairing.
Exactly. But what we're diving into today is something really unexpected that happens right in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. It's called Arjuna Vishada Yoga.
Which translates to the yoga of Arjuna's despair.
Right, and the big question is, why does this incredible warrior, Arjuna, certainly just drop his bow just as things are about to start?
Yeah, it's fascinating. And, even though this story is ancient, the core feeling, Arjuna's dilemma, it feels incredibly modern, doesn't it?
Totally, that conflict inside.
Exactly, that pull between what you feel you have to do, your duty maybe, and what your heart, your emotions are screaming at you.
It's universal.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think what we'll see is how even someone who seems totally prepared, totally capable, how they can just hit a wall, become paralyzed by it all. It's quite the setup.
Okay, so let's get into it. The armies are lined up, tension's high, and Arjuna makes this request to Krishna. It sounds pretty straightforward, almost military.
Like a commander assessing the field.
Right. He says something like, "O Achyuta," that's Krishna, "place my chariot between the two armies, so I can see who's ready for battle."
Makes sense. Know your enemy.
So Krishna does it, steers the chariot right into that no man's land between the massive forces, and that's the moment. That's when it changes for Arjuna.
Yeah.
Because he looks across, and who does he see? Not just nameless enemies. He sees, well, people he knows, his teachers.
Bhishma, Drona.
Mentors, people he respects deeply.
And his cousins, the Kauravas, uncles, friends, all standing there armed, ready to fight him, to kill him, and ready to be killed.
And that's the shift, isn't it? What started as maybe a tactical look, it just slams into him personally.
The battle moves from out there on the field to right inside him. It becomes this intense psychological, emotional crisis.
And the breakdown is, well, it's sudden and it's total. This legendary courage he's known for just evaporates. He's hit by this wave of sorrow, just completely torn. Duty versus love, really. Duty versus connection.
Yeah, the bonds of kinship.
And it's physical, too. The text is really vivid. It says his limbs weaken, his mouth goes completely dry.
You can almost feel it, that physical reaction to extreme stress.
He actually cries out to Krishna, saying, seeing my own kinsman, eager for battle, my limbs weaken, my mouth goes dry. He says, I can't even stand, my mind is reeling.
He's overwhelmed, spinning out.
And I see only bad omens, O Krishna. And then the killer image, his bow, the Gandiva, the symbol of his whole identity as a warrior.
His power, his purpose.
It just slips from his hand, and he basically says, I will not fight.
Wow. And it's so easy to maybe judge that, right? To think, oh, he's a warrior, he should just get on with it. He got cold feet.
Right, suck it up.
But it's not cowardice, is it? What we're seeing is someone grappling with a profound moral dilemma, this despair. It's coming from a deep place of questioning everything.
It feels very real.
It really does. I mean, think about it. Maybe not on the scale of a giant war, but haven't we all had moments where, like, the emotional weight of a situation feels paralyzing?
Yeah.
Where you just freeze.
Absolutely. That feeling where you just can't move forward.
Yeah, like that feeling maybe before a huge presentation or a difficult conversation, but amplify that by, I don't know, 1 million. With lives on the line. Your family's lives.
So what's the core issue for him? He starts to explain it, right? His main worry.
He does. He lays out his reasoning.
And it's about the consequences. He believes this war, even if they win, will just destroy everything that matters. Families, traditions, the very values society is built on.
The long-term damage.
Yeah. He says he can't see any good coming from a victory that's soaked in the blood of his own relatives. It would be hollow. Worse than hollow.
He's worried about the social fabric tearing apart.
Exactly. He says, with the destruction of the family, the eternal family tradition is lost. And this is key. And when Dharma is lost, adharma, which is like unrighteousness.
Yeah, chaos, disorder, immorality.
And dharma overwhelms the family. He sees this domino effect.
And this brings up these huge concepts, dharma and adharma. For Arjuna, here, dharma isn't just a simple do the right thing. It's the underlying principle of order, of duty, of the way things should be to maintain balance in society, even in the cosmos.
So it's bigger than just his personal duty as a warrior.
Much bigger. He's afraid that by fulfilling his warrior duty, his Kshatriya Dharma in this specific context, he'd actually be contributing to the destruction of the larger familial and societal Dharma, that the cost of this particular duty is way too high.
Leading to a Dharma, chaos.
Precisely. He's essentially saying some victories aren't worth it if they destroy the very foundation of a moral society, which raises a huge question for all of us, really. What do you do when your duties seem to conflict? When fulfilling one seems to violate another deeply held value?
That's the heart of his paralysis.
Absolutely. He's caught.
So the chapter reaches its peak. He's laid out his arguments. His heart is heavy. What does he do?
He can't reconcile it.
No. So the text says, having spoken thus, Arjuna cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot. Just sits down. His mind overwhelmed with sorrow.
Powerful image. The great hero, utterly dejected, giving up right before the action starts.
Yeah.
And this moment, it's everything. It's not the end, obviously. It's the critical beginning.
It's like the catalyst.
Yes, because here you have arguably the most capable person on the field, completely stuck, utterly paralyzed. He knows he needs something more than just his skill or his sense of warrior duty. He needs wisdom, guidance.
Which sets the stage for Krishna.
Exactly. It shows that even the strongest, the most prepared among us can hit a point where our own understanding just isn't enough. We need something deeper to navigate the really complex challenges life throws at us.
So wrapping up this part of the dive, what's the takeaway from seeing Arjuna in this state, this deep despair?
Well, I think it challenges our idea of strength, doesn't it?
How so?
True strength isn't necessarily never feeling doubt or sorrow or confusion. Maybe it's having the courage to face those feelings when they swamp you, to acknowledge you're lost.
And to seek help, maybe?
Yes, to seek clarity. Arjuna's despair, his vulnerability here, it's not actually a weakness in the grand scheme of the Gita. It's the essential first step on his path to real understanding. It's the door opening for transformation.
So it's okay to feel overwhelmed, to question things deeply.
Okay, maybe it's necessary sometimes. Think about your own life, those times you felt really stuck, pulled in different directions, maybe between a job and family, or what you feel you should do versus what feels right deep down.
We've all been there.
Right. Arjuna's story reminds us that in those moments, maybe the bravest thing isn't just to push through blindly, but to stop, to admit you don't have the answer, to seek wisdom.
That act of seeking becomes the strength.
Exactly. True understanding, real growth, often starts not with certainty, but with profound questioning, admitting, I don't know.
And that's exactly where we leave Arjuna sitting down, bow cast aside, utterly lost. But it's just the beginning.
The perfect cliffhanger, really.
So, next time on the deep dive, we get to see how Krishna responds. He starts to unveil this incredible wisdom, talking about the soul, about what Dharma truly means.
Yeah, that's when the Gita really starts to unfold its deepest teachings. It's going to be fascinating.